Hi, I'm Heather from Heather Handmade. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a great summer and I can't wait to dive back into all the fun sewing projects and sewing patterns I have planned for you. Today I am sharing a free tote bag sewing pattern and teach you how to make it. This pattern uses French seams and a hem, so there are no raw edges inside. You can make this entire tote bag just using a sewing machine. You can get the free pattern. The link is in my description. You can go get it from my blog. This pattern works with canvas. You need a strong canvas to make the tote bag strong and kind of be a little better about holding its shape. But there are nice box corners down here, kind of like a 3D corner that makes it easier to hold more stuff. I prefer a slightly shorter handle than like tote bags you can get at the store, because when I put it on my shoulder, I want it to be like secure right here. I don't want it to be way long, but then I can still hold it in my hand and it's not too far away from my hand. So this is the strap length that I like best, but you can make it longer or shorter depending on how you like it. You can see this is another bag that I have made. This cotton or this canvas was slightly a lighter weight, so it doesn't hold its shape as well, but it is also a very cute tote. It's really fun to pick out the print you want for your tote bag because there are so many fun prints that you can choose from. So let's get started. For this sewing project, you're going to need a half yard of some really nice heavy canvas. Then you will also need the free pattern that you can get on my blog. The link is in the description. You're going to cut out 2 of the tote bag pieces. That's the piece that has the little notch cut out of the corner. This is the bottom of the bag. And then you are going to cut out 2 strap pieces. This is on the fold. So these are the 2 bag pieces. You are going to take them, you are going to place them wrong sides together. This is so that we can do a French seam, which will enclose all of the edges on the inside, and you will not have to finish the edges with like a serger. So this is great to be done all on a sewing machine. So I've lined up all the edges wrong sides together, and I'm going to pin this side and this side, the 2 sides, and then the bottom. So I'm going to sew each of these sides individually. You need to backstitch when you start and when you stop, and then use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now take some fabric scissors and you're going to cut each of these seam allowances down to 1/8 inch. Turn the bag wrong side out, and now all of these seams, we are going to press this. You're going to have to roll the seam with your fingers to get it to come out to the edge. And we're going to press the 3 seams so that it's nice and crisp. Now, so these are the 3 edges that we've sewn and pressed. Now we're going to sew along each one of these with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and that's going to enclose those raw edges, those raw seam allowances inside so that the fabric will not fray. Now turn the tote right side out, and we are going to sew the little corners. This is how we're going to make box corners, and we are going to do French seams just like we did on the sides. So as you can see, when you place the tote bag like this, you can see that this is the corner that's been cut out. So if you just swivel it like this, so that this seam and this seam, so this is the bottom seam and this is the side seam, if they're matching up, I'm going to make sure that one seam allowance is going to point this way and then the opposite one is going to point the other way, so that it's going to reduce the bulk slightly right here. So I'm lining up like these two straight edges, but it kind of like ends in a fold on a diagonal, and pin these layers wrong sides together. And this corner, or this edge right here, I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to backstitch when I start, when I stop. I'm also going to do the same to the other side and make sure that this bottom, the seam allowance is going to be pushing the same direction, and I'm going to pin this other side. Now I'm going to take some scissors. I am going to trim each seam allowance down to 1/8 of an inch. Be careful over those seams because it gets a little bulky. Now you're going to turn the bag right side in again. And down here, this is that seam that we just sewed right here. We are going to do the same, where we are going to sew right across. So press this flat and crisp, and then sew this along this edge with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and backstitch when you start and when you stop. For the straps, we are going to press them in just like bias tape is pressed. So you start by folding it in half with the long edges matching, and I'm folding it with wrong sides together. And I'm going to press that crease in place. Then you're going to take these long edges and fold them in to meet that center fold that you've already created, and take the other side and meet it in so that both long edges are in the middle, meeting up. Once there are those 3 folds pressed in place, you're going to fold all of them so that those long raw edges are all enclosed nicely inside, and then give it one more press. Now the strap is pressed, and what you're going to do is keep it all folded like this, and you're going to sew down each long side 1/8 inch from the edge to do a nice top stitching. It will enclose those edges and give strength to the strap, and make sure you do it to both straps. So take the tote bag and turn it right side out. Poke out those corners. Now at the top, we are going to fold the edge down 1 inch and then another inch. And this is to create the hem around the top. The 1 inch makes it a little bit stronger since it's a little bit thicker. And in closing that edge, that raw edge means that you don't have to finish the fabric along the top. Once you have sewn this hem in place, I did it 7/8 inch away from the top edge. Press this so it's nice and crisp. So now we are going to sew the straps on. So what I like to do, I meet up the 2 side seams to find the center front and the center back, and I mark it with a pin. I'm going to line up my ruler. I like to have my straps about 6 inches apart. You can choose to have it wider if you want, but this is about where I like to do it, so that the inside of the strap is 6 inches apart, and then it's another inch on the other side. So I take one strap, put it in, and I'm placing it so that this short edge of the strap comes down to the bottom of this hem. This edge is not finished, but since there's so many layers and there's going to be a lot of stitching right here to secure the strap, I'm not worried about that fraying. So I'm pinning this side, and now I'm going to pin the other side. Make sure that your strap is not twisted. You want it to be a comfortable loop when you have it over your shoulder or in your hand. And then we're going to do the same to the other side. Now I'm going to sew at the bottom of the strap. I'm going to sew a square and then an X, and that will give a lot of strength right there. You're going through lots of layers, so go slow. Maybe put in a much thicker needle so that you can get through all of those layers of canvas. And the X and the square will make the end of the strap really secure on the top of the bag. Once you have these straps sewn in, nice and strong and secure, the tote bag is now finished, and you can fill it up with all of your essentials. And that's how you make a tote bag with a free sewing pattern. I can't wait to see all of the tote bags that you make. Please share them with me on social media, and I hope you have a wonderful day.